Hi guys, let's do find first palindromic string in the array. So we're given an array of strings called words, and they want us to return the first palindromic string in the array. If there's no such string, return an empty string. So they say a string is palindromic if it reads the same forward and backward. In example 1, we're given this input array, and then we would return ADA because that's the first string in here that is a palindrome, so we would return this string. In example 2, we would return race car because that's the first string in our input array that is a palindrome. In example 3, we would return an empty string because none of the strings in our input array is a palindrome, so none of these are like what we can return. So we have to return an empty string. So basically, we can just loop through the input array, and then for each string, we just check if it's a palindrome or not. If it is, then we just go ahead and return that string, because we'll just return the first encounter that is a palindrome. So that should be pretty straightforward. We can create a private method first to check if a string is a palindrome or not. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll say private boolean is palindrome, and we'll pass in string, we'll say like word. Then, so to check if a string is palindrome or not, so like let's take ABC for example. We want 2 pointers, one at the beginning of the string, one at the end of the string, and then we'll work our way to the middle and just check if the string on the left pointer and the right pointer, not the string, the character in the left and right pointer are the same at every step. And if they are, then it's a palindrome, and if it's not, then it's not a palindrome. So we'll say left, we'll start at 0, index 0, and then right can start at length -1, so the last character. And then we'll do a while loop, so while left is less than right, then that means we haven't, or like then there's still like strings, I keep saying strings, there's still characters to compare, because that means we haven't reached the middle yet. So while left is less than right, then now we'll check if the characters at those indices are the same or not. So if word.char at left is, so if they're not equal, then we'll return false because we already know it's not a palindrome, so we don't need to check anything else. Like we already know at that point. So if it's not equal to word.char at right, then we'll just go ahead and return false, and we don't have to do anything else here. Otherwise, we're going to have to do a little bit more work. So we'll increment left and decrement right, and start working our way towards the middle. So left plus plus, right minus minus. That way, like the next iteration, we'll just keep checking if at any point the characters are not the same, then we know that it's not a palindrome. Otherwise, if we are successfully able to get through the entire string and not have any of the characters not match up, then it is a palindrome. And so like by the time we exit this while loop, that's when we've checked the entire string, and then we can return true. So this will check if it's a palindrome or not. Now we can loop through our input array. So for each word in words, then if it is a palindrome, we'll return the word. So if is palindrome, and then we'll pass in word, then we'll return the word itself. And then we'll just check for every single word in our input array, because like once we encounter the first one, we'll just return it and then be done. So if we get through the entire input array and we don't encounter anything, which is where we would be if we end up here, then we can just return an empty string, and that should be it. So let's test this. All right, and then so our time complexity, let's take a look. So we have this outer loop here that is looping through every single word in words. So this we can call O of n. So let's call this O of n, and we can say n is the number of words that is in our input array here. And then for each word, we're checking if it's a palindrome or not. So then we're calling this method. So let's take a look at this method now. So in this method, we, for every single word, are checking every character in the word to see if it's a palindrome or not, because we're going from left and right all the way to the middle. So in total, that's going to be we can say O of M, where M is the length of the string that we are checking, or the number of characters in the string. So if that's O of N, this is O of M, number of, or I'll just say length of word, how about that? Then the time complexity in total will be these two multiplied, because basically we're like looping through every single word in the array, and then for every single word we're checking every single character in the word. So that's O of N times M, like that. And then we'll just copy and paste this. Okay, and then for space complexity, that's just going to be O of 1, because we don't actually have any data structures here. So that's it for this problem. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!